Welcome Sony boys and girls to your sales training guide for the Sony VAIO Tab 11. My name is Troy, Sony VAIO Ambassador for Infinite. In this video we'll be looking at sales techniques and product details that will help you sell the Sony VAIO Tab 11. We'll look at the technology and its features and most importantly the unique selling points. Before we go into details about the product itself, let's have a little look at what we're working with. Now you have a good idea of what the Sony VAIO Tab 11 looks like. Let's have a little think about the types of customers that will buy something like this. Bearing in mind, prices start at $799 for the Pentium version all the way up to $999 for the Intel i5 version. It's worth taking note that they do come complete with stylus and keyboard. Feel free to pause on the next screen to discuss amongst yourselves, and I'll be right here when you get back. So hopefully you would have picked up on some of these points. Number one, someone who can afford it. Starting at $799, it's not cheap. Most people won't even spend that on a laptop. Number two, someone who needs a tablet obviously, but doesn't like using on-screen keyboards. Number three, someone who wants to use it mainly as a tablet, but sometimes they may need it for work. Number four, someone who wants all the features of a desktop or laptop computer, for example Microsoft Office, or Music Unlimited by Sony. Number 5, the ability to extend the memory with an SD card, for example. Number 6, good interconnectivity. The Tab 11 has a USB 3.0 port, HDMI out and Bluetooth. You might have a conversation that goes a little something like this.
Can you help me with choosing a tablet?
You should say, yes of course I can. You should show them around the various tablets, eventually ending up on the Xperia Z. By this point you should have asked the right questions and have a good idea of how much they're willing to spend. I won't go into details about the types of questions you should ask, instead I'll let you figure some out for yourself. Pause on the next screen if you want to try. Now if at this point you're sure they don't want to spend Tab 11 kind of money, don't think it's a wasted effort showing off the superior Tab 11 Ultrabook/tablet. Because guess what? Even if they can't afford it themselves, if you impress them or wow them enough with your demo and knowledge, they just might know someone that can. So word of mouth is how most religions began, right? It's a powerful tool, never underestimate it. I've sold Sony VAIO'S without them being on display or even available in my store. Sometimes just an enthusiastic and accurate description is enough to make the sale. Right, now let's have a little think about our competition. It's quite likely you're going to hear people saying,
yeah, Tab 11 looks nice, but the Surface Pro 2 can do pretty much all the same things and it's cheaper.
To what I would say, that may be true, but there is a good reason for that. Let's look at some of the reasons why the Surface Pro 2 is cheaper. Number 1, the Surface Pro 2 is smaller. Number 2, it has a lower colour range. Number 3, the kickstand only has 2 fixed positions. Number 4, it's a bulkier machine. Number 5, the camera isn't as good. Number 6, it doesn't have NFC. And number 7, it doesn't come with a keyboard. Keyboard prices start at £99. Imagine the disappointment of getting home and realising it's not in the box. Now let's address some of the most frequently asked questions. It might be a good idea to think of some of your own in the next section, which I like to call
Why would I buy a £1,000 Ultrabook or tablet when I could buy a £230 Samsung Tab 3?
Alright, so here is how I'd answer that question. It's like deciding whether to buy a Kia or a Lexus. Now, if everybody just bought what they needed to get from A to B, Lexus wouldn't sell a single car. But guess what? How much more satisfying is it when you buy something you really want? You need to make them believe in it. So now, let's get to the unboxing, see what this thing comes with, and look at some unique selling points. Right, first off we have the main unit. First thing I notice about this is how thin it is. The tablet depth is just 8mm. This compares quite well to the iPad Air at 7.5mm and the Surface Pro 2 at 13.5mm. Also the weight is impressive. Bearing in mind this is a full Windows PC, the weight of the Tab 11 is just 800 grams compared to the Surface Pro 2's weighty 900 grams. Okay, next out of the box we have the keyboard, which can only be described as amazingly thin and light. Brushed aluminium finish on the back adds a nice touch. Also, this has its own battery built in, which means this keyboard is completely wireless. Keyboard charges off the main unit when connected. And also the keyboard connects via a magnet, which means there's no fiddly catches, just a simple magnetic connection. Okay, now the back compartment, which holds the power supply. So if we look a little more closely at this, you'll notice the power connector is quite short and stubby. This has been deliberately designed in this way for a reason. The stubby pin has been designed for quick release in event of the cable being tripped over. The last thing you want is the tablet flying off the table in the event of a trip. Okay, now let's have a look at the power pack itself. You'll notice the USB port, which allows you to charge any USB device from it, which is similar to the Surface Pro 2, but more significantly, you can purchase one of these, a USB LAN Wi-Fi adapter. This, in my mind, is a one-up on the Surface Pro 2 and every other tablet that's out there on the market. Also, we have a small plastic clip which holds the stylus alongside the screen. Now the stylus. Yes, it comes with the Tab 11 at no extra cost, powered by a quadruple A battery, and has inbuilt smart functions for ease of use. Clicking one button opens a menu, while the other allows you to erase quickly. This is a pressure-sensitive stylus, perfect for art and design, sketching and shading. It has a very sleek design to it. If this was a standard pen, it would be the type of pen you could use to influence some of your fellow store staff, but I'll come to that later. Right, next out of the box we have the manuals. We have the Sony warranty, and we have a Windows 8 guide. Now if you know anything at all about Windows 8 or 8.1, take the time to explain a few little tricks to your customers. They'll appreciate it, they'll like you for it, and they'll leave feeling like they've learned something new, a sort of sense of achievement. Sometimes that's all you need to seal the deal in sales. These are the tablets you're looking for. Now, I have left this section for last, as this is the part that will blow most customers' minds and could result in them walking away. You do need to know this. As far as the customer is concerned, treat it as a need-to-know basis. Okay, look back quickly at the main unit and run through a couple of significant points. The 11.6-inch screen runs the Bravia immobile engine, which supports a full 1080p screen with a triluminous display. This uses IPS technology that allows you to view the screen from almost any angle. Also on the front you will notice a home button. You can get this in up to a 4th gen Intel i5 processor with 4GB of RAM, built-in dual microphones. The screen houses 2 speakers on the back which give you clear audio plus stereo surround sound. Also on the back of the unit we have an 8-megapixel camera with Exmor RS sensor, which is far superior to the Surface Pro 2's 5-megapixel. This allows optical character recognition, or OCR. For example, you can take a picture of a page of text and open it in Microsoft Word. Also, a front-facing 0.92 megapixel HD web camera powered by Exmor for web, chat and for gesture control. Also, we have a accelerometer, a gyro and a digital compass. The kickstand on the back is adjustable to any position up to 85 degrees. You will also notice on the back the NFC logo. This means the unit can pair with another device with one touch. This allows the device to interact with smartphones and tablets, audio docks and headphones, and cameras. If you are lucky enough to be provided an NFC device to demonstrate, then certainly do that. If you do not, then like me, get yourself some Sony pens from your DST or DSM and I'll explain later. You will see under the flap on the top left corner a USB 3.0 port. These are faster than your traditional USB 2s. Also, you have a micro HDMI output. To the top right of the screen, you'll see another flap with a micro SD slot for memory upgrade. This is interchangeable, so your customer can buy as many of these as they like. To the right of the screen we have the volume buttons, power buttons, the audio jack and the LED power indicator. This is pretty self-explanatory. The last couple of things I need to mention are the screen mirroring functionality, the infrared transmitter and most importantly the 8.5-hour battery life. Also we have wireless LAN and Bluetooth. And when you buy one of these, you also get 1 month free McAfee antivirus and 1 month free Microsoft Office. So hopefully you're still with me. And see how easy it is to lose concentration when faced with a barrage of information. Now most of that information is need-to-know stuff for you, but for the customer you should tailor it to their level of knowledge. If you reel off that whole speech to them, they're more than likely to go home scratching their head than to the till. And it's for that reason I call this a need-to-know basis. If they do decide to buy the Tab 11, when they get home, they'll discover these things on their own, and they might even say, wow. Wow. One last tip for you guys out there, especially those who are deprived of NFC devices like myself, get yourself some Sony pens. These are as good as currency in retail. Give one pen to just one member of staff for helping you complete a sale. You'll be surprised at how quickly the other members of staff will try and help you complete sales. It worked for me. I even got other reps selling my products over Christmas, making VAIO the #1 selling brand in my store. So that's it for the sales training guide for the Sony VAIO Tab 11, brought to you by myself and my colleague Charlie, cameraman, salesman and animation specialist. So I'm going to leave you with one final quote which I feel fits this video perfectly.